Hello everyone, my name is Qixing Lu. The topic of this research is expanding the Guerra and Stapleton's report on ISD complexity in Brazil. First of all, let me introduce our team members, who are Chen, Jemaa, Paul Collins, and me. Okay, let's move on the next page, which called Introduction. I will start from the background of this study. As we all know, information system development is being used widely in many companies all over the world. However, the study will base upon Guerra and Stapleton's research aim to deeply understand the factors in complex systems and to understand these factors in the context of requirement engineering failures. The whole report is divided into three parts, which are literature review, implications for ISD practice, and implications of ISD theory.
Hi, this is a literature review of Guerra and Stapleton 2016. That research investigated ISD complexity in a Brazilian setting, using the framework put forward by Weidung and Guano 2005. The 2005 research was based in a North American setting, and the Guerra and Stapleton was based in a Brazilian setting. So long-term goals is to prevent requirements engineering failures. There's two approaches investigating the paper. One is big design up front, which is where requirements are gotten together in a rigorous fashion at the start of a project. Test-driven design, on the other hand, is where a project progresses in terms of coding and requirements at the same time. You test as you go along. So it's important to choose the right methodology. So the research objectives is to measure complexity using the Weidung and Guano framework, but with modifications. And some of those are factoring interdependence, diversity, adaptation, and learning. It's also an objective to measure the perceptual differences between managers and technical staff around the areas of software integration and measure perceptual differences on socio-political factors and how they could potentially contribute to complexity. So check if additional complexity factors were present in a Brazilian setting, and check if there were different socio-political complexity factors present when compared to the North American research. So the findings coming out of Guerra and Stapleton are the dynamic aspect complexity in ISD was not found to be significant, which is a key difference between that research and the North American research. Managers were found to be more sensitive than technical staff in their assessment of political factors as contributing to complexity. There was also a perceptual difference between managers and technical staff around the importance of integration with other vendor software. 16 further potential complexity factors were discovered in the Brazilian research. Learning and adaptability represented by change requests was significant. Interdependence, adaptability, and diversity in ISD was said to be significant. And further socio-political factors were found that were potentially local to the Brazilian setting. Risk was also seen as a potential theme in the additional complexity factors found in Brazil.
The following section is about implications of ISD practice. We discussed from the role of IT managers to the management method of the ISD activities. First of all, the position of IT manager need to be confirmed. Manager is person who has responsibility to the project during the whole IT server runtime. In this section, we discuss this responsibility from two dimensions, considering stakeholder and considering the social and political environment. As a person who communicates with stakeholders, people who involved into the project, managers should be able to avoid misunderstanding by, for example, building standard language to describe the requirement in the team. Managers also need to have ability to accept change requests during the process. Maintenance and support service are functions can manage the project after it's released, as feedback is the way for manager to check the project running correct. On the other hand, considering the environment, managers should ensure the decisions are made not only from a technical aspect. Political factors are also faced as a limiter of project, so it needs to be clarified before project start. Thus, in the case of those considerations, the manager can find the most reasonable management method.
To explain how information system development activity should be managed, we will present in the current slide some tips and good practice for information system development activity management. Actually, there is no best way to manage and develop an information system. Every information system has his own specification and his own design. So there is a need to specify a methodology for every information system development activities and manage it in the way that conform with that specified methodology. Although some researchers tend to explain that ethnography is highly recommended to design and develop an information system, as it allows the information system to be adapted and designed on the stakeholders' need, as it allows to take into consideration how things work in the real life, so we can avoid the misunderstanding and ambiguity. The four-component framework is a good solution for breaking down complexity elements and classify it either dynamic or structural and technological or organizational. Breaking down complexity will allow to clarify a concept and understand better the system, which can reduce the complexity.
Hello, this is Qixin Lu again. In this section, I will present a research question that we need to consider in the future research in order to expand the study. My research question is, can budget control be a key factor for ISD project to promote successful outcomes? The research is based upon Comboy's paper named Project Failure in Math, a study of loose budgetary control in ISD projects. There are four main issues may cause over budget. The first one is tolerance for interim budget deviations, which means high tolerance for interim budget may cause a project to be difficult to be controlled, and finally resulted in exceeding the budget tremendously. The second one is line item control, which means no details of every budget line item may cause the company accountant make error when create an account. The third one is intensity of budget-related communication. Less communication about budgeting issues or performance in the formal meeting between executives and project managers. The last one is called emphasis on meeting the budget. Most managers think that meeting the budget is the lowest factors than other factors in their final performance assessment. We know many different reasons may result in ISD project failure, but we cannot deny that many companies lack of emphasis on budget controlling throughout the project. So, if company can control budget over the project, and which must be reduce the failure percentage.
The second part of expansion of the Guerra and Stapleton research is the effect of user involvement on the information system development complexity. Every 2011 classified involved user into three categories: informative, consultative, and participative. The informative will just observe and inform. Consultative users are allowed to comment on predefined design solution, while in the participative role they actively take part in the design process and have decision-making power regarding the design solution. User involvement can also be divided into direct and indirect involvement. User may be directly involved in an informative, consultative, or participative role. If an information or software system has a large number of prospective users, it's actually impossible to rely on direct involvement, especially when the users are not known in advance. In this situation, recourse may be to have indirect user involvement through a representative or surrogate. Every 2011 argued that a better user involvement does not rely on a binary relationship with project success, and concluded that user involvement allow a better information system development design by reducing ambiguity and increasing adaptivity with stakeholders' requirement. Obviously, a better design aimed to reduce the information system development complexity. As a conclusion, we summarized the Guerra and Stapleton research. We visited some other related papers in order to expand it. The expansions visited two main areas. The first area is budget control effect on information system development complexities, which shows that budget is a main factor that can reduce the information system development complexity. The second area is user involvement and information system development complexity that enable a better information system development design, which is a way to reduce information system development complexity. Thank you for your attention.